In this video, I'm going to be breaking down 3 things you are not taught in school and growing up that have to do with money, and they're stopping you from making more money and building financial freedom. When I learned this, it changed my entire life. My wife was in credit card debt, and I was having tough luck, tough shit getting things going. And I stumbled upon a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You probably heard of it. #1 personal finance book ever in history. It was written by Robert Kiyosaki. And in this video, I'm not going to be doing a traditional book summary. What I'm going to be doing is summarizing the big ideas, 3 that changed my life and helped me go from a college dropout that was barely able to make $2,000 a month to becoming a multimillionaire before I turned 30. The way that I did that was by applying some of these ideas from Rich Dad, Poor Dad and Robert Kiyosaki, and I'm going to be breaking that down in today's video. Now, let me know where in the world you are coming from. Just a heads up, I have a free success hypnosis. It's jakeshypnosis.com. It's pinned to the comments and in the description. It's a free success hypnosis to reprogram your subconscious beliefs and subconscious behaviors that are stopping you from making more money. We just started a really cool thing where we give away $1,000 to one lucky person that signs up to the free success hypnosis and is using it, and we announce a winner for $1,000 every month. So if you haven't yet, go ahead and sign up right there down below for free, and you can start using it to reprogram your mind for financial success. Without further ado, let's dive right into these 3 quick and easy big ideas from Rich Dad, Poor Dad that will change your financial life. So idea number 1 is the one that most people have probably seen. This is Robert Kiyosaki's famous cash flow quadrant. Now, the reason that this was so life-changing to me is because I was taught to stay here, and likely you've been taught to stay in this quadrant as well. This is E. So E stands for employee, S stands for self-employed, B stands for business, big business, and I stands for investor. Right here pays the highest taxes. This pays close to the highest taxes. This has the lowest ceiling on income, meaning you're trading your time for money. This is when people move self-employed. This is where I got stuck. I didn't know anything about business when I dropped out of college and I started my career as an author and building a speaking and marketing business. I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know I was stuck in the self-employed department. I was limiting my income. My ceiling was capped. I thought, well, at least I'm not in this quadrant. But in reality, I had a full-time job. I was my own employee and my own boss. And this is the trap that most people get stuck into. Now, B is for big business. Realistically, I can say for myself, I am not going to have a business with 500 plus employees. It's just not who I am. It's just not going to happen. Quite frankly, it's just not who I am. I know who I am. Maybe different for you. But here's what I figured out that I'm going to teach you in the later steps and why it's important to keep watching, because I learned how to get a hybrid between this and this from the book so that I own my own business, but I have ultimate leverage. I can raise exponentially the income ceiling, how much income I can earn in a year, while decreasing the amount of time that I worked. So this was the big key. Now, the question to ask is, what quadrant are you in right now? There's no right, wrong. There's no good, bad. It doesn't matter if you're an employee. It doesn't matter if you're an S corp. What matters is, what do you want and where do you want to be? And when you understand this basic financial education, you can start to use it to build financial independence from yourself. So in step number 2, I'm going to break down the very important idea that really changed my life, where I went from making under 6 figures to making over $1 million a year, simply by applying how to get a hybrid between here and here. So if you're with me still, let me know in the comments right there down below, and let's move on to number 2. Number 2 is, I realized that a business is one of the best assets for 3 things. Number one is lower taxes. Who doesn't like to pay lower taxes? If you can do it legally and you can help more people in the process with your business or service, if you want to pay lower taxes, you can hit the like button on this video. The next is a higher income ceiling. When you have a business, you have a higher income ceiling because you can provide more value and thus make more money. When you're stuck self-employed, trading your time for money, there is a ceiling on how much you can make, even if you get a pay bump, because there's only 24 hours in a day. And then the third thing is that it creates more freedom. Because when you do not work for money anymore and you raise your income ceiling, you now have a business that works for you instead of you working for your business. And this was the big trap that I was in. I dropped out of school. I backpacked around the world. I wrote my first book about it. And I self-published that book. And what I was doing was I was my own PR, I was my own publicist, and I was my own consultant. I was teaching other authors how they could self-publish a book. This was 10 years ago, before it was a big popular thing. So I trade my time for money, whatever it was, $50 an hour. I'm directly trading my services. And I realized everything I did, whether it was that, speaking at a youth group, speaking at a Unity church about my book, it was all flat fees on an hourly rate. I worked for my business, and if I got sick, if I hurt my back, if I just didn't feel like working, my business and income went away as well. So then I realized the third most important part of having a business creates options and freedom. As MJ DeMarco says in Fastlane Millionaire, that it gets you out of lifestyle servitude if you do it right. And this is why it's important to keep watching this video, because there's a lot of entrepreneurial minded people. It might be you watching this video, but there's a way to do what you're doing so that you make more money and so that you have more free time in the process. And it's all about a shift in mindset that Robert Kiyosaki breaks down in Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Now, before I get into that, he talks a lot about assets and liabilities. And he talks a lot, of course, about real estate. I realized for myself, especially just starting, that wasn't going to be my thing. I was going to have to make my number one asset my businesses. You may not know a lot about real estate. You may not have a way to get going. It may seem too stressful. Well, one thing you can do is turn your business into an asset that produces cash flow for you and starts to get you moving in the right direction. So, quick recap on an asset. Asset is something that has value. That could be a business, that could be a product, that could be a brand, that could be a service that produces income or appreciates. So the goal with the business is that it produces income and appreciates in value without you directly trading your time for money indefinitely. Now, this is the big idea. Now, what happens with most people is even their own business becomes a liability. Think about this. If you have an idea and you're a consultant, you have an entrepreneurial thing that you're doing, even if it's cleaning houses, if you only trade your time for money with how you give that service to other people, then guess what? Your business or your skill itself becomes a liability because it's sucking your time indefinitely in order for you to get more money from it. So just so this makes total sense for you, because I'm a visual person, I had to conceptualize this. It was like learning a foreign language, right? Here's two versions of the roadmap that you can take. This is the one that we're told to do in society, which is go to school, get a job, and then trade your time for money indefinitely, right? That is very linear. That's why most people make about $50,000 a year per household in America, because they make the same amount of money every single year, maybe slightly adjusted for inflation. Think about this. It's a fun kind of mind game. Think about everyone you know. Think about yourself. Most people make the same amount of money every single year once they hit the prime income earning years of their life. Is it because they're not capable of more? That's what I thought at first. I thought it was just, this is the way it is. So I make $40K a year. Now I just got to figure out how to stop drinking lattes so I can become rich. And then in 80 years, if I keep making $40,000, I'm going to become a millionaire. Then I thought, well, maybe there's a faster way. The faster way is, here's you, here's V, which is value, and money. So instead of trading your time for money, you trade a value for money, which gives you leverage Because if you market and create that value, that service or that idea in a way that has a multiple factor, leverage, or scale that is greater than the, say, 10 hours of work you can put in trading your time directly for money, then what happens is you grow a money tree because your income can grow exponentially even if at times you are working less. So here's a quick way to think about this. Product, service, plus deliverability equals money tree. Product, service, plus deliverability of that, which we'll get into what that is, that equals your money tree. That is your cash producing asset, business, or idea. So think about it like this. You could have a product or service, for instance, and be a massage therapist. You work for $30 an hour. Or you could be a trained massage therapist that also learns about deliverability. You learn online marketing and you run online ads and you start growing your clientele greater than your ceiling of time, greater than the amount of hours of time that you have. Then what you do is you increase your product or service. How do you do that? You have to serve more people. Let's say you have a patented way that is so awesome that helps people relieve neck tension. That's your thing. So what you do is you take some other massage therapists that are working for $20 an hour and you say, you want to make $30 an hour? I have a patented process that I do and I can give you clients. So all of a sudden, you're providing service to clients without directly being involved. You're still doing some of your massage work, but now you're looking at it as an entrepreneur and increasing the product or service deliverability to more people. Essentially, this is what Massage Envy did. What they did is they increased deliverability by building scale to house more massage therapists, to house more clients, and to put together a model that gave them the opportunity to field more clients. Therefore, they created a money tree. So, like I said, this wasn't just going to be a normal book summary. I am showing you how I applied these ideas into my life to change my financial life so that you can use these exact ideas too. And it's not just theory about a book. Now, the way that I did that is I finally realized I worked for my business instead of my business working for me. And I said, okay, I'm in two businesses. I'm reading this book and I go, all right, there's two businesses I'm in. One business is a liability, and that's me trading my time for money. It goes away when I'm not trading my time for money. I'm self-employed. There's no scale. There's no leverage to this. The second business is the one you want to be in. So ask yourself, how do you want your business life to look? How can you bring more leverage and scale to it? And I said to myself, okay, everything I'm doing for consulting, everything I'm doing for speaking, all I could do is instead of running around trying to get all these speaking gigs is one, I could put content up on YouTube, and two, I could create digital courses for the exact same things I'm doing. You want to learn how to self-publish a book and be your own book publicist? That was the very first course that I ever created, just teaching exactly what I learned. I brought in my agent and I brought in how I went from self-publishing my first book to selling 20,000 copies and publishing my next books with the #1 English publishing company in the world, Penguin Random House. And as I was doing all this, I thought about the steps, right? And I want you to think about them so that they simplify for you, but also think about the mindset that's involved in it. You have to start to detach your identification to yourself as broke. What happens is we identify as whatever our income is. I make $40,000 a year. I make $50,000 a year. This is just who I am. The way that you do this is to brainwash yourself for financial success before the world brainwashes you for failure. And so in order to do that, I created a free success hypnosis. About 1 million people from all over the world have used it now. It's free. And for one lucky person that uses it every month, we give away $1,000 cash. You can sign up for free in the description and pin to the comments. It's jakeshypnosis.com. Big idea number 3 is the rich do not work for money. This is the Untitled Chapter in one of the sections of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I remember reading and go, okay, well, what the hell do they do then? Right? So the rich don't work indefinitely for money. is a better way to put it. I talked in the last section about how you're in two businesses, the income stream you presently have and the one that you want to be in that has more leverage. So what I did is I started to put a plan for how to evolve my income to increase my income ceiling by focusing on products, services, and deliverability to get there so that I could create a money tree. So I turned everything I was doing into things that brought more scale. So those same consulting, I could make money when I was sleeping, even if it was not very much money at the beginning. I could do these things to divorce myself from directly trading my time for money. I interviewed a woman one time that was cleaning dorms as a freshman in college, and she was just doing it to get extra money, but then she realized it was getting so big, she started hiring other cleaners that were in college, and pretty soon she had hundreds and hundreds of people working for her, and she had business all over the state of Florida. She had $1 million cleaning business. She built that because she divorced herself from trading her time for money by focusing on a service, cleaning, and adding more deliverability by focusing on fielding clients and training other people that could provide the service. All of a sudden, she has a multiplication factor. In the book, Fast Lane Millionaire, it's called the law of effect, the law of affection. The more people you affect with a product or service, the more money you will make. And the biggest impediment to that is when you are trading your time for money. Now, when you hear that title, The Rich Don't Work for Money, it's easy to think they don't do anything. Like, how the hell do they just do nothing and make more money? I'm over here busting my ass. And that shows you two things. Number one, it shows you that working hard alone doesn't bring money. And that's why you have an income ceiling when you're just trading your time for money. The second thing out of that he says is that poor and middle class work for money. The rich have money work for them. So he says the number one way to get past this is to break your fear barrier. My fear barrier was looking at you can't measure what you're going to gain by focusing on what you're losing. And I was losing a little bit of clients. I was losing a little bit of a traditional stream of income. I kept it going just enough where I had money coming in while I built the future one. But you don't understand the quantum leap that comes when you shift your model to not trading your time for money. And you can do this with literally anything from health to fitness to psychology to cleaning. The list is endless, but it takes moving past the fear. So in order to successfully complete the process of not working for money, we have to face our fear. So Robert Kiyosaki says in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and I quote, "It's fear that keeps most people working at their job. The fear of not paying bills, the fear of being fired, the fear of not having enough money, and the fear of starting over." That's a big one. That's the price of studying to learn a profession or trade and then working for money. Most people become a slave to money and then they get angry at their boss, not realizing that they could make money their slave by getting out of their own way. So the question is, what skills, products, or ideas could you start to do, or things you're already doing that you could just change your model of how you do it, so 6 months from now or 12 months from now, you're starting to build a money tree. The very first thing that I did is I shifted everything that I was charging per hour to things that could be purchased infinitely digitally. The next thing that I did is focus on deliverability, because the law of compensation is very clear in Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You are paid in direct proportion to the need for what you do. That's great. Good news. Take a deep breath. Go, nice. Because there's pretty much a need for anything. There's people with 7-figure Harry Potter fan clubs. There's people that like cookies. There's people that like paleo. There's people that need help with accounting. There's people that need help with house cleaning, yard work. And there's high end and low end for everything. There is a need for every single thing that you do. The next thing is your ability to do it. How good are you at doing it? The truth is, most people never get better at what they do. That's exactly what happened to me on this YouTube channel. I started coasting and going through the motions. I quit getting better. And because there's a huge competition in the marketplace of ideas called YouTube, by the way, thanks for watching this video all the way through, I started to get stagnant. And then I said to myself, well, what can I do to get better at it? Well, one, I can make better videos, which I'm trying to do right now. If you enjoy this video, please let me know in the comments right there down below. I would truly appreciate it, because I've spending a lot of time on these videos now, trying to make them as good as I possibly can to help you as much as I can. But then the second thing I said, well, what's my skill or talent? What's something I'm good at? So ask yourself that. What is something you're good at? And I realized I was good at YouTube. I understood how YouTube worked. And then I realized there was another market I was interested in. I was interested in gold. I was interested in silver, commodities, and mining stocks. I was investing my extra money into these things. And I thought, well, there's not a lot of media that's based in this type of a niche. Well, that ended up being a massive business that I started for fun just on the side as an extra business that turned into $1 million business because what I did is I focused on a need and my ability to provide to that need. Then the third thing is the difficulty that there is in replacing you with that. So I know that there's a lot to digest in this video. What I encourage you to do is grab that book, watch this video again all the way through and take notes while you're doing it to find the big ideas that you can apply, right? I shared my own personal story so you could relate to it. One of the things that you could do is pull out a sheet of paper, make a list of 10 ways you could provide more scale or more leverage, or make a list of 10 additional sources of income and then reverse engineer how you can provide more scale and more leverage that ultimately will divorce you from trading your time for money indefinitely. Now, pull out a pen and pad and let's get to work. So I hope you enjoyed this video. The truth is that it is simple. It is not necessarily easy, but it is simple. The simple path is you need a skill, product, or service or idea that you can provide to other people and do it in an intelligent way that allows you to reach more people greater than the amount of time you have allotted in a single day. Now, the truth is that a lot of what has to happen to get where you want to get is you have to start to unlearn everything you've been taught about money, because we're taught to stay in that first quadrant of just be an employee and just work for the same level our whole lives. But we can unlearn that skill so we can make more money, provide more value, and have more options. So now that you have the strategy, it's time to implement it and then combine it with reprogramming your mind, because we've inherited all these crappy belief systems about money, about success, about work, about what you're capable of, and those develop into negative money habits. Between the beliefs, the perceptions, and the negative money habits you don't realize you have, because 95% of your life is subconscious. It's below the level of conscious, and it's stopping you from making more money. So download my free success hypnosis right there down below in the description and pinned to the comments. And maybe you'll also be the lucky winner that wins $1,000 cash one time every single solitary month. So if you enjoyed today's video, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, bell notification, and give me a comment down below. Let me know what you think of today's video, and I will see you on the next one.